One of what I'd say is a top 5 question that I get asked on the rodeo circuit is simply this: how do you pray? And there's so much that we can teach about prayer, and we have in the past. We've done series on this, but I want us to look at just something that's come to be more attentive to me. Is something that comes from a pastor, A.W. Tozer. He has since passed away. He's a well-known pastor, preacher, and author, and he had this to say: is when we become too glib in prayer, we are most surely talking to ourselves. So again, when we become too glib in prayer, we're most surely talking to ourselves. So I used to advise when somebody asked me that is just to treat it like a conversation with God, just a casual conversation. Just talk to him like you'd be talking to a friend. But I think we need to take it just a little bit more seriously, or maybe a lot more seriously than that. When we look at Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7, is the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. So again, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. We're going to do 2 messages on this, and I'm going to deal with the second part in another message. But the first part, the fear of the Lord, is what I want us to think about. It comes out several times in Scripture, and I think when we first read it, especially as new younger Christians, we see that as something meaning we're supposed to be afraid of God, and that's not what it's telling us at all. It has more to do with treating Him with reverence or respect. So think about when you have a good relationship, when you know somebody has a good relationship with their dad. It's because not all of us do, but when somebody who has a good relationship with their dad, they try to be respectful. We raise our kids, even some still, to say yes sir, and that's just offering respect to our dad. And so we know when we're in trouble, we're going to listen to him, we're going to take it seriously because we know we've messed up. We're going to be not afraid of the punishment that's coming, but we're going to be concerned, and we're going to be serious with him. We're not going to be laughing and joking around when we know we're in trouble, because we're going to respect our dad. And so that's kind of the approach that we need to take with God when we're approaching him with prayer, is to approach him with respect and reverence. So when it talks about being glib, what he means is to be casual, to be shallow, to not be serious. And so when we're approaching prayer that way, where Tozer is saying then that we're probably having a conversation with ourselves, we're just talking to ourselves. When you think about that, when you're driving down the road and it's 2 a.m. and your traveling partners are asleep and you're alone with your thoughts in the truck, your thoughts bounce from one thing to the next. From how the ride or run went that night, to a conversation you had, to how far is the next rest area, how much further can I go on this tank of gas, how much money do I have, what am I going to charge these guys for gas, and our thoughts just go all over the place. I think if we don't approach prayer seriously, the same thing happens, is that our mind just wanders. And that's one reason that I advise when you pray to actually pray out loud. It helps you to stay focused and on track. It helps us to present our prayer to God respectfully, because our mind isn't going to wander on to other things. We're going to be giving him our full attention. And that's part of what fear of the Lord means then, is that we're being respectful to him. So I want us just to kind of look at that part of this in the fear of the Lord, and that verse from Proverbs, understanding there's several other references to fear of the Lord, is that we do approach him more respectfully. If you're new to prayer and uncomfortable with it, oh my gosh, first and foremost, it's important just to start somewhere. And if you don't know exactly how to do it, God knows that too. He knows you're not approaching him disrespectfully. So just however it is that you can start talking to him, first and foremost, start talking to him. But for the rest of us, I think just trying to apply more discipline to our prayer time. Those of us that have had more time in the saddle, per se, is something that we need to look at, is that we do approach our time with him with more seriousness and more reverence. As always, guys, cowboysofthecross.com, we have messages up there every other Thursday. We put new content there. If you look to the headings behind the bucking chutes, which is what we call our Cowboy Church sermons, those are available on the website. They're always there. Those are a resource for you guys. You can also help us when you see our posts on social media. If you can hit like and share, we don't need those likes and shares to feel good about ourselves, but because of how algorithms work on social media, it helps us to get the messages into more news feeds. And that's what we're asking. That's a big way that you guys can help us in this ministry, is to help us get these messages out so that we can encourage and teach more of you guys into a deeper knowledge of what's in Scripture and a better relationship, or a stronger relationship with God. So hope that makes some sense, and we will see you somewhere down the road.